Just a few days until the 2025 NFL Draft. It's my final mock draft. I'm at ESPN Draft Nerd Jeremy Green of NFLDraft.net and ESPN Radio Asheville, and this is my final mock draft for the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia started with pick 32. In this mock, I had them trading that pick to the Houston Texans. They gave up pick number, and I just realized the graphic is wrong. Gotta love doing these things live. They traded pick 32 and pick 34 to the Houston Texans for 34 and 89. So you will see a couple picks in this that Philadelphia does not actively have, but they're pretty close. They added an extra third rounder to trade down a couple spots so Houston could jump up and get Matthew Golden. So we start here at 34. Nick's hurting for a Scourton, edge rusher out of Texas A&M. I know not everybody loves him. I'm just not really sure why. If you look at him for what he is, playing at 265 or even down at 257, which is where he played at Purdue, he was an elite pass rusher. He led the Big Ten in sacks. He great movement skills. He can drop. He can do a lot of things. But I feel like people saw him playing that big, hulking kind of five-tech role that he played last year at Texas A&M, and all of a sudden now he just sucks. No, this is the kind of player that Philadelphia finds a role for. They use the pass rush skills, and 3 years from now we go, how the hell did we allow Philadelphia to get another edge rusher that fell in their laps at the end of the first round? This is actually the beginning of the second, but it's the same premise. Scourton is one of those players that I think a smart team is going to end up with, and he's going to be a dynamic pass rusher at the next level. Now, second pick in the second round, I've been saying this kid's name wrong the entire process. It's Mbow, guard out of Purdue, one of the best run blockers in this class. I love the idea of setting him on the inside of Lane Johnson. Over the course of time, I'm thinking less and less that he's going to become a right tackle at some point. I think he just nests at guard. He's a guard. He's a guard. He's a guard. Little undersized. You do have to know that. Played at about 285 at Purdue. Showed up at the combine at 303. And he didn't lose much in terms of athletic profile. That's one of the biggest questions for thin, undersized linemen is, do they lose their athletic profile when they put on the weight to play at an NFL level? I don't think Bo does. I think he comes in immediately as a high-level pull guard out in front of Saquon Barkley, opening up holes, and he would be the replacement to Mekhi Becton. And as a Jet fan that watched Mekhi Becton, I think you'll like Marcus Bowe better than you liked Mekhi Becton. Third round, they have two picks. We start at safety with the extra pick they got from the Houston Texans. Lathan Ransom, safety out of Ohio State. This kid can absolutely separate your head from your body. One of the biggest hitters in this class, one of the best box safeties in this class. Also a player that I'm not really sure why he's not getting the love that he deserves, but this kid's a dog. You watch tape on Ohio State, and it is really obvious that they were able to do a lot of things in the run game because they knew they had a safety back behind there. You don't want to falafel with this kid because he will hurt your feelings. Lathan Ransom there at 89. Then at 96, I go Jaden Blue, running back out of Texas. He profiles very much like Darren Sproles because he's going to be a dog in the pass game. One of the best wheel route running backs that I've ever seen. Elite hands, high-end speed. I don't know that he's going to give you much between the tackles. The body profile on him is just not really at an NFL level where you're going to see him as a great between the tackles runner. But I do think he will be a good passing down back. He's also a pretty good pass blocker to not be any bigger than he is. Jaden Blue there at the end of the third round. Then we get into day three, and day three of this class is fun because you get a lot of guys that are super projections, but some of them have really high upsides. Starting the fourth round pick, 130. Nope, it's not 134. I don't know what pick this actually would have been. Let me check the. I have obviously boo-booed the Eagles sheet here, so I'll have to change that before the NFL Draft Guide comes out on Tuesday on the website NFLDraft.net. You will be able to find that. Every team's mock draft, my top 100 player profiles, and a blurb on every player that I had with a draftable or priority undrafted free agent grade. All right, so here with Philadelphia, I'm trying to get to what would this pick have been? Okay, they gave this pick up, so I have really screwed this up. So basically just push every one of these players down until Corey Black falls out of the back. Corey Black's been really popular in the process, but in this scenario, when you do things live, every once in a while you screw things up, and I forgot to take a pick off Philadelphia. So we start at 161 with Chase Lunt. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do this a different way. one of the things that I was bothered by in this process was Dylan Fairchild should not have fallen this far. So I'm going to switch Fairchild and Lunt and knock Fairchild out. So we'll talk about Chase Lunt here. Big offensive tackle from UConn, very athletic, just going to have to get stronger because he's one of the thinnest 6'8" offensive tackles you'll ever see. Does not profile as being able to go into guard because he is very upright. But if you're looking for a replacement for Lane Johnson 2 years from now that you can just work on, you can take the raw, put it where it needs to go, and you put him in that Philadelphia scheme, this is the kid for me. It was between him and Jalen Travis. I like both. They profile very differently. I think Travis probably has he doesn't have as high of an upside, but he probably has a safer floor. Lunt could be a Jordan Mailata type of move piece at tackle that can get out in front. You're just going to have to be patient because he's not there yet. Dylan Fairchild, I'll give the synopsis on him just in case you wanted to knock Jaden Blue up, which is fine. There are a million running backs in this class. Fairchild, to me, is not as high as Tate Ratledge, the other guard from Georgia, and he's nowhere near Jared Wilson. He just doesn't have the athleticism, really, to me, that is going to project him as a high-level guard. I think he'll be a depth piece over the course of time. There's also very little miss in him. I know he's going to play in this league for 8 to 10 years. I just don't know that he ever does it at a starter's level. Tyler Barron, edge rusher out of Miami. I love him as a 5-tech. I think you're going to have to bulk him up a little bit, but the athletic profile that you saw at the Combine was enough that I think he can win that way at the NFL level. It's just going to take a year, maybe 2, to get the body right, bulk him up just a little bit to allow him to play on the outside of that odd man front. Tez Johnson, wide receiver from Oregon. I get it. He's a tiny little feller, but damn, he gets open, and he's really slippery. He's just small. And you do have to understand that he is small. But you go back to the tape from the Senior Bowl, you go back to the tape from Oregon, at 154 pounds, running the 4.54 was enough for a lot of teams just to go, no, he doesn't fit our athletic profile. I think Philadelphia would take the risk on him because he is super slippery out of the slot. And then Corey Black, cornerback out of Oklahoma State, been very popular in the process. And I did the math on this. I think he did 23 top 30 visits. He was in with a lot of teams. I had him as the first undrafted corner going into the process. As time has gone on, I've really just kind of soaked in the tape. I think he's going to get drafted. 168 might be a little too high, but I think you're going to have to take him somewhere in that area because there's so many teams that seem to be in on him. Mistakes notwithstanding, how do you feel about this mock draft for the Philadelphia Eagles? Let me know in the comments if there are players you think I should have taken, or if you just want to say, hey, dumbass, can you not make a graphic that has the right picks when you have the trade at the top of it? Feel free to do all of that. I answer all of those things ahead of the 2025 NFL Draft from Green Bay, Wisconsin. We'll be live for every pick of it. We're on Radio Road, day 1, day 2. Me, Cowboy Zach Hurst, Tank Spencer, and David Smith from Armchair Commentary. We're breaking down every pick as they happen from Green Bay. And then day 3, it's the drinking day. We're going to have cold beers. We're going to talk about your teams. We're going to talk about the picks as they come in. And it's all yours here in the Sportsocracy. You can find me on Twitter at ESPN Draft Nerd. Find me online at thesportsocracy.com or NFLdraft.net. I'm Jeremy Green, and this was the final full mock draft for the Philadelphia Eagles.